my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. It's a new week, which means we have a new colour and glitter of the week at the nail team, and in this design I've used both. So I've used this week's Gems colour of the week, Elisa, and one of the glitters from the nail team glitter of the week collection. So to see which one and how this set was created, please keep watching. So I'm working on Miss Danny, my Elena hand in this video. Tips are all applied, and from the Gems acrylic range I will be using my favourite crystal clear acrylic. I'm also going to use a touch of blush, one of the beautiful peachy cover powders. Then from the glitter collection of the week, this week we are featuring the mythical mediums. You will remember a couple of weeks back we had the mythical shards. This is the multi-cut mixes, and I'm using Phoenix, and then we have got the colour of the week, the beautiful Elisa. So I'm going straight in to do the thin clear base using crystal clear, and then we will start on the design. For this set I have used the Gems extra long square tips. I don't normally use them because I'm not a massive fan of the shape, of the square shape, should I say. Not these tips in particular, just overall. But I wanted a square finish for this set. So I have used these. I did pinch them a little bit just to narrow them slightly. And chop them down because I didn't want them that length. Now thin clear base is down, I want that to fully dry before I start this next stage, and you can see I've decanted a little blob of Elisa onto my palette, and I'm going to start off on the middle finger, and I'm just painting a little V at the cuticle. This is going to be a colour block nail, so just trying to get the V shape that I really want, and I'm just going to paint this nice and thin, just how I would apply it if I was doing a full nail, and just getting that V shape. And I'm using I think this is the Crystal Nails Phantom brush. You could also use the Avery brush from Gems, but I wanted something a little bit slimmer. And then on the pinky I'm going to do a full nail of Lisa, so I'm just applying this as I would any other way. So we are just tidying up around the cuticle. I'm going in using the brush for that, and once I'm happy, in the lamp for a 60-second cure, and then we're going to come back and do the second coat. So I'm following that little V shape, making sure it's nice and neat around the cuticle. Doesn't matter if the lines are not perfectly straight, because I will even that up once I've encapsulated in clear acrylic. I'll just take it in a little bit slightly, so that I don't have like a clear strip. Second coat on the pinky, and then back into the lamp, cure for 60 seconds, and then what I do is just dry wipe over these just to remove that tackiness. If you find the acrylic doesn't stick very well, you can lightly buff over as well, but I've never had a problem, and I've done it this way on my own nails before, and they lasted like 4 weeks. So I did that little bit off camera, and now I'm going in and I'm just encapsulating that little V. So tidying up the cuticle, making sure that's nice and neat. Want to make sure I've got my apex in place, and then I will use side of the brush just to push in those little side lines of that V. Just nice and straight, neat as possible. But I will do what I always do with a colour block and come in and tidy that up with my craft knife, and I want to cut inside the brown. As I said, I don't want a clear strip, so you will see where I'm cutting away there will be a little bit of brown overlapping, and that is what I want. I did end up with a teeny tiny little clear speck sort of right at the point. I didn't cut in enough at the point, but it isn't overly noticeable. It's just me. I will pick out any teeny tiny imperfections. If you're not confident with a craft knife, I've said it before, I will always say it because I want you all to be safe and I want your clients to be safe. Don't use the craft knife on a client if you're not comfortable. You can do it all with a file. You can also use string or dental floss or something like that. Only use the craft knife if you are comfortable, and you've got to get that soft, that point where the acrylic is still soft but it's not super soft that it'll lose its shape. Whilst that sets now, I'm going in on the ring finger. I'm using the beautiful blush and I'm doing a little bit of a smile line. So I applied my bead where I want the smile line to be, blend it back towards the cuticle, and then use the side of the brush to shape that smile line, make it nice and neat. And then I'm going in with a second bead just at the cuticle, slightly smaller, slightly wetter, just to give us that nice neat cuticle line, blending it into the first. Not worrying about apex or structure here because I'm going to build that with my crystal clear. So just getting that nail bed sort of shape. And doing lots of work with the brush, especially on the sides, so that I've got less filing to do, but I do always go and file just to really crispen it up. So off camera I filed that V shape just to make sure it was super straight, and now I'm going in and on one half I am doing blush. So you can see I'm following that diagonal line, so it sort of goes straight across the nail and building up that little bit of a wall, how I would if I was doing my nail bed or any other colour block. Again, not worrying if it's not perfectly straight at this point because I can neaten it up with the file because I've already got that line to use as a guide with the file. And then I'm getting right up into the wings, making sure I've got the coverage how I want it. I built up the apex with the clear acrylic, so if I do overlap slightly with the cover acrylic, it doesn't matter because I will file it all away at the end, and I'm making sure I've got all the structure with this colour. And then here you can see I'm just trimming away that excess just to neaten up that line, but I will still file it. Obviously if I wasn't happy with the structure, I would encapsulate at the end, add any more clear acrylic where I feel the nail needs it, and if you have got the cover acrylic over top of that block you've already done, just gently buff file it away before you encapsulate, otherwise you won't get that crisp straight line. Happy with that, gonna let it set before going in with the nail file, and now using crystal clear acrylic to encapsulate that nail bed. Here is where I'm going to build up the apex and the structure and just heighten up that wall of the smile line where it was a little bit uneven and I didn't feel it was high enough. Again, using my brush just to neaten up those side walls, doing as much, or the smile line, sorry, doing as much with the brush so I've got less to file. While that sets, we're going to start adding this beautiful Phoenix glitter. This is sort of a browny gold sort of colour shift glitter. It is probably the most autumnal one in this collection. I think it's really beautiful and it pairs so lovely with Lisa. In fact, there's a couple of these glitters that I thought went really nicely with the glitter of the week. And don't forget, I always have more designs on my Facebook and my Instagram, so if you don't already follow me on there, please do for more designs throughout the week. I'm going to do full coverage on the index finger, so I started off nice smaller bead at the cuticle so I can make it nice and neat, and then I'm just adding more. This is more of a chunky mix. There is some fine glitter in there so you can build up the full coverage, but I would say it's sort of 70% chunky and 30% fine, so it does take a little bit more work to do the full coverage, and this is the second of the mythical collections that we featured as glitter of the week, with the third one is coming up in a couple of weeks time, so I'm looking forward to share that one because The shards are my favourite. The next one that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time is probably my second favourite. I do love this one, but I love the other one too. I love them all. So I've patted that down nice and flat because I need to encapsulate. I wasn't worried if there were a few gaps, especially towards the tip, because I do like it where it sort of fades out. On the pinky, where I did a full Lisa nail, I'm just adding some of the Phoenix glitter at the cuticle to do a little bit of a cuticle ombre, and I think this is the nail where you can really see how these two colours come together. I will just add, I took inspiration for this set from one I did a couple of years ago, and that set itself was inspired by Kerry Anderson. She does some of the most amazing sort of cut out colour blocking designs, so I sort of simplified it slightly, but if I'm looking for some colour block ideas, I do tend to check out her Instagram. I filed up that diagonal line right the way down from cuticle to tip so that it was fully straight and I had no gaps in it, and now I'm adding some of that beautiful Phoenix glitter and just filling that whole half of the nail, trying not to get any on the other parts of the nail that I've already done, but if I do, doesn't matter, I can file it away. Again, we're keeping this nice and flat because it needs to be encapsulated. So you see I'm just pressing it down so I haven't got sort of bits coming up the wall in places, because then you'll find that the line looks wonky and I don't want that. And just a couple of little tips I found with colour blocks. If it does go horribly wrong, when you've finished it all, filed it, and you think my lines are wonky, go in with a little bit of art gel just to sort of do the lines, and it hides like a multitude of sins. So it's just some ideas. You can even like sprinkle sugar on some glitters. So there are ways of sort of disguising and hiding it. Off camera, I filed my smile line just to neaten it up. You can also just go over the surface if the wall is a little bit uneven, because you do want it sort of the same height all the way round. Now I've gone in with, well, I'm going in with 2 coats of Lisa, getting right up into the wings. Again, not worrying if I get any on the nail bed because that'll all file off. Right up the wall, and this is where you will probably find you get some on the nail bed, but it doesn't matter. Right to the tip. I did a first coat, cured for 60 seconds. Here I'm doing the second coat, sort of using my detail brush, doing the wings and the wall, and the actual brush for the rest. And this is the design part done. So these need encapsulating in clear acrylic, building up the strength and the structure. I also did give some of them a little bit of a pinch. I sort of did it as I was going just to sort of slimline them slightly. So I will encapsulate, build the structure off camera, then I did file them to shape, so neaten up the side walls, the free edge, refine the surface, get that nice square shape that I'm not a massive fan of, but actually was quite pleased with in the end. And here they are, all freshly filed, ready for finishing touches. So going to give them a really, really good clean. I want to get rid of any dust and fluff and bits. You know that part because I do it in every video. And then this design is pretty perfect as it is in my opinion, but I just wanted to use a few crystals on my ring finger. So I've got the Earth crystal collection from Crystal Parade. They've got similar colours to the ones I've used in this design. I'm using Greta glue from Gems, and I picked out a brown crystal and a couple of sort of goldy crystals. Teeny tiny little dots of glue. I was having so much trouble getting these to stick. Too much glue, wasn't drying, but I did get there in the end. It took me 3 attempts, which I cut out because I probably should have left them in, you know, showing things don't always go right. But I just wanted to do a couple of crystals because I didn't want to take the focus away from the design and the glitters, but I just thought a couple on that nail would just sort of really bring the design together. And then it is time for my favourite part, for Miss Tina Top. We are going to top coat these nails, bring them back to life, really wake them up and show off that beautiful, beautiful glitter. Sort of bring Lisa back to life because she is a beautiful chocolatey brown colour. We can really see sort of those sharp lines in our colour block. And yeah, I love everything about top coating. Just going to get right up and around these crystals. You want to make sure the glue is fully dry or set before you go in. You could also use like a gems gel glue to apply crystals, but I just used the glue. So getting right up around into any little nooks and crannies. I'm trying not to go over the top of the crystals, but I did get a little bit on. And once they're all top coated, I'm going to pop into my LED lamp, cure this set for 60 seconds, and this one is done. And I think this is such an autumnal set. I was really pleased with how it turned out, even being that square shape that I'm not a massive fan of, and that's just me personally. I don't think square nails suit me, so I just don't do them very often. But I'm thinking maybe I should sort of start throwing in a square one every now and then. I prefer a tapered square. I just think they look more elegant. But anyway, here is this set done. I loved how it turned out. I don't want to big up myself too much, but I was really proud of how this one turned out. I do love doing a little bit of colour blocking anyway. You might have guessed, because it does turn up quite regularly these days. Hated it once upon a time, but now I love it. But this set is finished, and I really did love how it turned out. But what's important to me is what you guys think, so please leave me any comments down below. Please give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel or you've just not got around to it yet, please click subscribe. Love to have you join me here. I can honestly say I'm back into the routine of things. My mojo is fully back after sort of those summer months where I was struggling. I'm churning out new designs every week, which I'm so happy about. So as I said earlier, if you don't follow me on Facebook and Instagram, please do head over there, Cinder Helly Nails, because there are loads more designs each week with the colour and the glitter of the week. Because I'm back into the routine, I do have another video coming later this week, so be sure you come back for that one. In the meantime, check out the description box, because I'll pop the links and the details in there. And don't forget, this week the colours and the glitters of the week are reduced, but for those full price products you can use Helen 5 for 5% off. And actually, I believe I still have a Helen 5 discount code for Crystal Parade, so head over to there to check out their crystal mixes. That is it for me today. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll be back with another video in a few days' time. Bye! Mwah.